Hey guys, how's it going? It's our week 4 top stacks on DraftKings. I have 5 of them for you. These are the 5 stacks that you are going to want to target in GPPs this weekend on DraftKings. Look, there are ways that you can play this game this weekend. It is a crazy slate with the 6 teams that were pulled off the slate because of the island games this week. The Dolphins are off, the Bengals are off, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the 49ers. At least 5 of those 6 teams are teams that usually could pop up in this video, making the stacks this week for tournaments a little bit wild. So we've got some teams with really high totals, a lot of teams with really low totals, some slow paced games. It is a weird 12 game slate, but I'm going to give you 5 stacks that I think are going to put you in a better position to attack the top of GPPs in week 4. Let's go.
He's a legend.
I really do like the fine folks over at DraftKings, but they underestimated the Smith gang, and that's just something you should not do. They made the listener league bigger. They went from 4,000 to 4,500 people, but it literally was nowhere near big enough because you guys are a pack of wild animals. We're tracking like 500 plus ahead of last week's pace when you filled it on Friday night. This is going to fill early again. It's probably going to fill overnight between Friday night and Saturday morning. If you want to get into the listener league, go to smizzle.tv/links. The listener league link is in that link tree. It will take you right to this page. $10 entry fee, 3 max, absolutely no rake for the best tournament on DraftKings. That's smizzle.tv/links. Get your seat early because it is going to fill. I have already emailed them telling them I have a pack of crazed dogs that watch my video and they love playing on DraftKings. We're probably going to have to make this 5,000, 5,500. Maybe they'll push it to 6K next week because there's no reason this should not be full or not be spots available on Saturday. So if you want to get in, smizzle.tv/links will take you there. While you're there at the link tree, follow me on Instagram. Go follow the Twitch stream because I'm live on Sunday morning, 45 minutes before lock. Jump in the Discord, all those sorts of things. So the link tree has everything. Get in the listener league now because it's going to fill 100%. I'm going to start with Jalen Hurts. Okay, he's really good at football. Gives you a really high floor because of his rushing ability. But like we saw the last 2 weeks, what he can do through the air with 300 plus yards in both games, 4 touchdowns combined. If you are going to stack Jalen Hurts, I do believe that you should double stack Jalen Hurts because on the weeks that he has over 30 DraftKings points, he can sustain 2 pass catchers in tournaments. Let's look at who his pass catchers have been, right? So looking over here at NFL Savant, this is a free site. You can guys. It's great for visuals that you can find this information anywhere. This just looks really good on stream. That's why I use it. You can see AJ Brown at 31.3% of the target market share. Devontae Smith, had a fantastic game last weekend. One of the best in the league at contested catches, high pointing the ball, just super skilled wide receiver. Behind him, Dallas Goedert. There's 3 guys. It's very simple. You hate to see it go like 6 deep. Here you have 3 guys that project to have over 15% of the target market share. And when we look into like red zone targets, it's those 3 dudes as well. AJ Brown has lagged behind and probably has some touchdown equity coming his way as we move forward. So if we're going to have Jalen Hurts on that team, AJ Brown 7,400. This is certainly going to be a pay up to be contrarian spot, whether you use Devontae Smith or you use Dallas Goedert in this spot to go along with your Jalen Hurts stack. I'm going to pick 2 of these guys, roll with them, and then bring it back with somebody on Jacksonville. You can find value on that team. You can go super value and avoid AJ Brown. You can go without the ankle injury that's there with Smith and go with Brown and Goddard. Do whatever you like. Get in where you fit in. But if you're going to play Jalen Hurts and try to win a tournament with him, you're probably going to want to get all of the goodness that comes along with him. If he has that 30 plus fantasy game, you're going to want the players that benefit from it the most. This video, as always, brought to you by 2 of the sites that we are sponsored by, or sorry, not sponsored by, but partnered with, and that is establishtheRun.com. Go to smizzle.tv/ETR. There's a link down below in the description to get 10% off of the great content that they have there. Private shows, private podcasts, lots of content behind the paywall, as well as their great projections to help you win in daily fantasy, to cut down the amount of time that you have to spend because you have a 9 to 5 job. They do all the work for you. You can jump in, read a couple of articles, look at their projections, and build better lineups from jump without having to spend 4, 5, 6 hours researching every day. Our next stack, Josh Allen. See, we haven't gotten to the puke yet because Josh Allen's really good at football, and I think that we should probably utilize him more weeks than we don't. Thing is, he's in probably the most popular game this week. It is restrictive to stack him and bring him back because of the prices that are out there. I think that it's very doable because of how many cheap running backs exist between like 5K and 6,100. So like there's routes that you can go to get there, and there's always cheap wide receivers on a slate. So going with a Josh Allen double and bring back is not impossible. Looking at his wide receivers, it's basically Stephon Diggs and then a bunch of dudes. So like Steph Diggs, if I'm building Josh Allen stacks, is probably going to be the primary guy with all of my Josh Allens. You can go another route if you want, because clearly other guys can produce. Singletary with 12.4% of the targets. Isaiah McKenzie, Dawson Knox, Gabe Davis, because he missed the game, is sitting down there. And in terms of red zone targets, Singletary with 5 of them. Steph Diggs, one of the league leaders with red zone targets, end zone targets every year that he has played with Josh Allen. Coming back to this stack, you can see how expensive it's going to be with Allen at 8,400, Diggs at 8,400, then trying to fill in with Gabe Davis, monitor his injury situation as he's been dinged up for a couple of weeks. Dawson Knox at 3,800. I'm going to pick 2 of these, then try to bring it back with somebody on the other side of this in Baltimore. I don't know who it's going to be that I'm going to bring it back with in Baltimore. Maybe something will pop into my head, but like it's got to be somebody that's got a good ceiling, and probably a really good ceiling versus all the other players at his position. I can't think of who it might be, but maybe we can figure it out, as things go along. We'll figure it out. If you got a couple of seconds, go check out the work that we're doing over at No Kid Hungry, smizzle.tv/charity. We're trying to raise $50,000 from the Smizz Gang community. And every 10,000 that you guys raise, I will match $10,000 up to $50,000. No Kid Hungry provides school breakfasts and lunches to food insecure kids all across America. So if you enjoy the content, if you've profited off the content, or if you have a couple of bucks that you found while digging around in your couch, if you got $1, $5, $10, $20, $100, anything that you can donate, every single dollar helps. So go over to No Kid Hungry and let's make some kids' lives better together and try to get to that $100,000 goal together. Jared Goff. The Lions have the second highest team total on the slate. Team totals correlate very well with quarterback scoring in fantasy football because it's efficiency and touchdowns that really matter the most. Yeah, he only had 1 touchdown last week against Minnesota, but he had 26 fantasy points against Washington, now faces off against Seattle, who's like one of the worst defenses in the league. They are bad at like average yards per reception. They have allowed the 3rd most red zone trips, and they have played really bad teams so far, like the struggling Broncos. They played the 49ers the week that they lost Trey Lance. They played the Falcons. It's not like they've played Baltimore, the Chiefs, and the Bills, where it's like, oh yeah, well, they're ranking really high in red zone trips allowed because look at the offenses they played. They have not played great offenses. So like now you've got an offense that looks like it's going to be solid. There's a lot of pieces around Jared Goff that are in play. Obviously, we're going to have to monitor the ankle situation for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I am acting as if he is in the game. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is not playing this week, go ahead and take him off of your list. Don't play him if he's inactive. Expert information from me. Don't play the guys that aren't playing on Sunday. What if Amon-Ra St. Brown's not playing? Then don't play him. Play somebody else. Behind him, we have like 4 guys. One of them is out this week, and that's DeAndre Swift. His usage is going to get soaked up a little bit by Jamal Williams, but TJ Hawkinson's like 4,100. DJ Chark right behind him. Josh Reynolds right behind him. Looking at red zone targets, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Josh Reynolds looks like the good value guy in this stack. So if I plug in Jared Goff and go over to wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been absolutely monstrous with 33 targets so far this year. Seattle specifically has been terrible against slot receivers, and that's where Amon-Ra St. Brown runs the most of his routes, or at least gets most of his catches versus his teammates. I think he's got something like 14 catches coming out of the slot so far and 2 touchdowns on routes that originated from the slot, and all other Lions receivers have 16 targets. Catches for Amon-Ra St. Brown, targets for the rest of the Lions out of the slot. So if he is healthy this week, and I'm operating on the fact that he's going to play, he is your target against this Seattle defense. You can go with the other guys if you want. DJ Chark, you can plug in Josh Reynolds. I obviously advocate for that double stack and bring back, and you can find players on Seattle. There's basically 2 main ones that are going to catch the ball against them. Going over to the next stack, Marcus Mariota makes a return. Look, it's another cheap way to get him. It's not a puke stack because he's playing against Cleveland. This game actually has a really high total. It's a little bit crazy. It's weird, to be honest with you. So we're going with it, right? Cleveland does not blitz. Atlanta does really well when not blitz. Now, Cleveland doesn't blitz because they have an Avenger playing edge for them in Myles Garrett, who, when you have him, he can create enough pressure on his own that you don't need to blitz and send other guys. So it's going to be interesting to see if Cleveland can produce enough pressure without blitzing, because Mariota has done extremely well when not blitzed this season. And looking at who he's targeted, it's been Drake London 32% of the time and Kyle Pitts 25% of the time. If you want to go with Zacchaeus, if you want to go with Kadarrell Hodge, like, it's really nobody else. It's probably these two and maybe a sprinkle of someone else if you were going to mass multi-enter this and try and get some reps through other guys. But like, the vast majority of your doubles using Marcus Mariota have got to be with Drake London and also with Kyle Pitts, and then maybe you figure some other way. Cordarrelle Patterson has a history of being a pass catcher, but they have not utilized him that way the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to include him in any of my Mariota stacks. And then bring it back on Cleveland with somebody that you want. And speaking of Cleveland, Jacoby Brissett is the puke stack of the week. I know. Don't click off the video, please. Don't click. In fact, if you're still here, hit the like button before you leave. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. I know you're still here. I know you're sick to your stomach, but just hear me out. Just please chill. Like, chat's going nuts. See, look at him. Oh no, I'm out. What? Oh, there goes my sushi. You guys are a hot mess. Like, just hear me out, okay? This game has a really high total. That's one. Two, they've been extremely efficient, and Atlanta has spots where we can pick people apart. One of those spots is at outside wide receiver, where Amari Cooper has received 36.5% of the passes from Jacoby Brissett, and he's not expensive. David Njoku, 23% of the targets from Jacoby Brissett. A lot of people are going to flock to Nick Chubb. So this is a way to get contrarian in such a crazy way that it's not stupid. Like, this is a 1% double stack where he could have 3 touchdowns in this game. They could score 24-27, and one of them goes to Cooper and one of them goes to Njoku, and he throws for 280 and 2 or 3 touchdowns. And you soak up all the red zone and end zone usage, all the targets for those 2 guys. You put Brissett in your, I know you put Brissett in your lineup, you're mad at me. I know. It's okay. It's going to be okay. I'm not really buying Donovan Peoples-Jones. You want to take a tournament dart throw at him, that's fine. If I'm playing Brissett stacks, it's going to be around this double. And we just talked about the easy target guys on the other team that you could go to. And the other thing that this does, it allows you to get access to the expensive players in this Buffalo-Baltimore. That's what this does. 3 cheap Browns and 1 cheap Falcon gets you access to this Buffalo-Baltimore game. It gets you access to the high dollar players that you might want to play at running back, because everybody is paying down at running back and then paying up elsewhere. Going over to Fantasy Labs and what we're going to build with these 5 quarterbacks that we just detailed on this, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. That will take you there for their discounted rates. The 6-month rate is probably the best rate, as it gives you the all sports pass. They have NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, golf, NHL, NASCAR, MMA, everything, with optimizers and projections and content for every single one of those sports. If you just play daily fantasy NFL, the only place you can get the NFL only subscription is through my link, smizzle.tv/labs. Let's apply these settings. Let's head over here. Let's build 150 lineups and make sure that you're not just clicking submit and think that you're printing money. You have to doctor these allocations and really massage it. It takes me like 50 times running through an optimizer to get the looks that I want and build the rules in for each specific slate to get the optimizer to dance the way that I want it to dance. So thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.